Hi there, it's Sheena here with Uncommon Sense Investing. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm here to answer another frequently asked question. Today I'm going to be talking about how certain assets transfer at death. Oftentimes clients really wonder, well, if something happens to me, where do my assets go? And one way to name a beneficiary on certain accounts is through either a POD or a TOD designation. So let me explain. What are POD and TOD? So POD stands for payable on death, where TOD stands for transfer on death. And they really function very similarly, but POD goes on certain assets where TOD is designated on other particular asset types. Naming a POD and a TOD essentially is just naming a beneficiary on an asset. So why does this matter? Well, there's a number of things. First of all, it helps avoid probate. It also provides peace of mind and simplicity and ease for your loved ones. Oftentimes when I'm talking about estate planning with a client, they tell me, well, I just want things to be simple and easy. I don't want to create, a lot of stress for the people who are going to be inheriting these assets or settling an estate. It also helps keep things private. So probate can be a public and open process where when you have these direct transfer designations, it goes right to the individual or the beneficiary. There also can be some cost savings and tax advantages by avoiding probate, and it helps keep those estate expenses down. What is a POD account? So a POD is designated on bank accounts, checking accounts, savings accounts, maybe certificates of deposits, where a transfer on death is used for accounts like your investments, brokerage accounts, mutual funds, stocks. It may even apply to real estate, your home, and those types of assets. So how the asset transfer process works is that when the individual is living, they fill out paperwork and they are able to designate either that POD or TOD on the asset. At death, that's when the assets, you look to who those TOD and POD beneficiaries are, and the asset transfers directly to those people in their percentage share. It completely bypasses the legal process, and the beneficiaries can access their assets with very little delay. Important reminders about TOD and PODs is that these designations override your will, so they come first. And it's also very important that you keep them up to date. So I always recommend to review them either annually or maybe every other year, and especially when your life circumstances change. This chart is really handy. It lists out different asset types and the various kind of type of designation that you would use to list a beneficiary, and certain examples. So your bank accounts, your credit union accounts, retirement accounts. One thing I want to point out specifically that I haven't spoken to on this chart are the retirement accounts and life insurance. So with those types of assets, you don't designate a POD or a TOD, but in fact, they do just have what's called a beneficiary designation. You're always going to have that unless if you don't have a beneficiary designation, it goes to your estate. So payable on death is for bank accounts. Just simply naming a beneficiary is on retirement accounts and life insurance, where transfer on death are on those other asset types that I mentioned. Investment accounts, stocks, real estate, maybe even vehicles. So key takeaways from today, super simple, and it can be really powerful to buttoning up your estate planning, and it complements your will, maybe a trust, any other estate documents that you have in place. It's really important that these align with your plans because you've spent your lifetime building your assets and you want them to go to the right place as clean and simple as possible. So I hope you found this helpful. I appreciate you tuning in. Until next time.